You did.
Welcome back, Warner fam. Today, I'm diving into a 2023 horror mystery film called The Portrait. So keep your eyes wide open and stay safe, because this one's a wild ride. The movie starts in 1937. A man named Calvin drags a woman into a farm, and it's pretty clear he's up to no good. He tortures her before painting her portrait, which feels more like a nightmare than an art project. Something's really off with this guy, and it's only just beginning. Now we shift to the present. Sophia and her husband, Alex, are on their way to Alex's old family home in a small village. As they drive, Sophia looks around and says, "This place is just as beautiful as you described." But when they pull up to the villa, something feels strange. Sophia asks if Alex remembers his life here, but he's quiet, like the memories are slipping away. Maybe the house isn't as welcoming as it seems? Then Brooks, the villa's caretaker, greets them. He offers to carry their luggage inside, which seems pretty normal, but things are never as simple as they seem in these movies, right? Brooks gives Sophia a tour of the house, mentioning his sister can help with cleaning if needed, but something about him feels off, like he's hiding more than he's saying. And with that, the creepiness begins to crawl in. As Sophia explores the villa, she starts noticing something strange. Paintings everywhere, but most of them are of the same girl. It's like the house is obsessed with her. Maybe it's just art, or maybe it's something much darker. Later, when Brooks asks if he should put their luggage in one room or separate rooms, Sophia says, "Put everything in one room." But once he's gone, she quickly moves her things into a different room. Why? It's like she's trying to get away from something, but what? A bit later, Sophia gets a call from her friend Emily. "This is pointless," Emily says. "You should have left Alex in the psychiatric facility like the doctor said." Sophia doesn't agree. She's sure she knows Alex's condition better than anyone, even the doctors. She refuses to give up on him. "I brought him here to help him remember," she tells Emily, explaining how the house might be the key to unlocking Alex's lost memories. But the house isn't just a place for healing. It might be hiding something more dangerous than she realizes. Emily's voice comes through the phone with cold honesty. "Maybe Alex would prefer death over living like this," she says. "Living without his memories, unable to even communicate. He was once one of the country's brightest scientists, you know." The words sting, but Sophia won't let go. She insists Alex can still get better. Later that evening, Sophia gives Alex his medication, her voice soft as she tells him, "Tomorrow we'll go for a walk." Though he doesn't answer, she believes he can still hear her. "I'm your loving wife," she says, like the words might reach him, even if his eyes are empty. But when she enters his room, she finds him standing in front of the mirror. He doesn't look like the man she married. His eyes are hollow, like he's staring at a stranger. She tells him it's time for bed, but he suddenly pushes her hand away with surprising strength. The coldness in his touch chills her to the bone. He crawls into bed without a word. As she watches him, Sophia's mind races back to a night she will never forget. The night Alex was celebrating his success in scientific research, before everything changed. Could something from that night be haunting him now? The tension in the room feels heavier than ever. Sophia's mind drifts back to that night. She had to leave the party because of work at the genetic research lab. Alex begged her to stay and celebrate with him, but she told him she was too busy. Little did she know, that decision would change everything. As she was about to get into her car, Alex grabbed her hand, desperate for her to stay. She pushed him away. That one moment led to a horrific car accident. The crash left Alex with a head injury, and from that night on, he couldn't remember anything. He became trapped in his own body, unable to speak or connect with the world around him. He was a grown man, but inside, he was like a child, needing care every single day. Now, back in the present, Sophia writes in her journal. She sighs as she reads the words. No improvement in Alex's condition. The hope she once had feels farther away than ever. That night, as Sophia lies in bed, she hears strange noises coming from somewhere in the house. She gets up to check on Alex, making sure he's still asleep. When she's sure he's resting, she notices something odd. The door to the upstairs room is wide open. What could it be? Curious and a little nervous, she enters the room. There, under a dusty cloth, she sees a large portrait. Only the signature is visible. Calvin Dubose. Who's this guy? She pulls off the cloth, and her heart skips a beat. The face in the painting looks exactly like Alex. It's like staring at him, but trapped in a painting instead of a body. In a panic, Sophia runs back to her bedroom and calls Emily. Her voice shakes as she explains what she saw. Emily's response? "You're just imagining things. It's probably stress and guilt." It's all in your head. She says Alex's condition is well documented, something common in psychiatry. But Sophia isn't backing down. I'm not crazy, she says firmly. What I saw was real. The tension in the air thickens. Something's wrong. Something she can't explain, but feels deep in her bones. That night, Sophia is haunted by nightmares. The dark images follow her into the morning, leaving her unsettled. She tries to shake it off by going for her usual jog, hoping the fresh air will clear her mind. When she returns home, she's startled to see Alex standing by the window, staring out. But when she rushes upstairs to check on him, she finds him fast asleep in bed. Is she seeing things again? Shaking off the feeling, she takes Alex to the bathroom and begins shaving his beard. But her hands are shaky and she accidentally cuts him. I'm so sorry, she says quickly, feeling guilty. Alex doesn't react, just staring blankly. Afterward, she tells him about the strange portrait she found upstairs. The one that looks exactly like him, painted by his cousin, Calvin Dubose. Sophia can't shake the feeling that something is seriously wrong here. Is the past coming back to haunt them? Later, Sophia takes Alex to the villa's old basketball court, a place he used to play as a child. She asks him if he remembers anything from his past, but he doesn't say a word. His eyes are blank, staring ahead like nothing matters. Back inside the house, Sophia brings out the family photo album, hoping to jog his memory. Let's look for a picture of Calvin, she suggests. As they flip through the pages, they start to notice something strange. All the Dubose family members have their pictures, except for Calvin. His name is written under a blank space where his photo should be. The room suddenly feels colder, and Sophia's heart races. Why is Calvin the only one missing? Suddenly, a woman appears at the door. She introduces herself as Margot, Alex's cousin. With a warm smile, she greets Alex, mentioning she heard about his accident and is happy to see him back in the family home. The Dubose family always comes back home, she says, as if it's a rule they all follow. Margot then starts telling Sophia a story about their great-grandfather. He settled in the village before World War II and worked as a tailor, making women's clothing. After the war, he built a fortune, she explains, her voice full of pride. As the conversation continues, Margot turns to Sophia and says, "You're so beautiful. If my grandfather had seen you, he would have made you a model for his fashion house." Sophia feels a strange chill run down her spine, but she smiles politely. When Margot leaves, Sophia walks her out, trying to keep things friendly. But as they reach the door, Margot adds one last thing. "My grandmother never liked me, but she let me stay in the guest house by the villa." There's something in her voice that makes Sophia wonder if there's more to this family than meets the eye. Later, while exploring the house, Sophia finds an old box full of ceramic figurines. She shows them to Alex, and when he picks one up, she feels a wave of happiness wash over her. Alex remembers playing with this very figurine as a child. It's a small moment, but it's a sign he's starting to remember. That evening, Sophia writes in her journal, Alex's condition is improving. She feels a rush of hope, so she turns on some loud music and starts dancing, lost in the joy of the moment. She walks up to the portrait and stands in front of it, speaking softly. "I was right," she says to the painting. Alex is beginning to reconnect with his memories here, but just as she finishes her words, she hears something crash to the floor. She rushes to the source of the noise and finds Alex standing beside a broken ceramic figurine. He doesn't say a word, just silently walks back to his room, leaving Sophia standing in the quiet confusion building inside her. That night, Sophia has another nightmare, one that feels all too real. When she wakes up, she rushes to Alex's room, but he's not there. Her heart races as she searches the house, the quiet making everything feel eerie. Finally, she finds him downstairs, sitting at the kitchen table, having breakfast with Brooks. "Alex was hungry, so I made him some food," Brooks explains, looking up with a kind smile. Sophia breathes a sigh of relief and thanks him, but the uneasy feeling lingers in the back of her mind, like something is off, something she can't quite understand. Later, Sophia digs into Calvin Dubois's past and discovers that he lived between 1910 and 1937. He was a talented painter, but when she looks at his artwork, she feels a chill run down her spine. The paintings are strange and unsettling, like something out of a nightmare. Determined to get answers, she takes Alex to visit Margot. She tells Margot about the portrait she saw, painted by Calvin Dubois. Then she asks, "Did Calvin look exactly like Alex?" Margot smiles and says, "Well, they're both Dubois. It's normal for them to look alike, but that doesn't explain everything." Sophia presses on and asks, "Why are there no photos of Calvin?" Margot's face turns serious. She explains, Calvin wasn't liked by his family or the townspeople because he hurt women. She adds that Calvin was mentally ill, but he was also a genius painter and scientist, someone who pushed the limits of what we know, both in the human world and beyond. Sophia feels a shiver as the words hang in the air, as if the answer to this mystery is more twisted than she could ever imagine. When Sophia asks what Margot means by a remarkable scientist in the world beyond, Margot doesn't answer. Instead, she changes the subject. telling Sophia that when Alex decided to marry, he chose a scientist just like him. She says this was no accident. Everyone in the Dubois family is a scientist. Sophia, confused, clarifies that she was asking about Calvin, not Alex. That's when Margot's expression darkens. She starts to tell the story of Calvin's obsession with his young, beautiful maid. Over time, Calvin became fixated on her, painting countless portraits. After the maid's husband died, she became deeply sad, and that only made Calvin's obsession worse. Finally, Calvin confessed his love to her, but she rejected him. She had fallen for another man after her husband's death. In a fit of rage, Calvin dragged her from his house to a nearby field. There, he found her lover and, in front of him, he brutally raped the maid and beat them both to death. Afterward, Calvin returned to the family home and locked himself in the upper room. When the police arrived and knocked on the door, they got no response. They broke the door down, only to find the room empty, except for one thing, a massive portrait of Calvin in the center, the paint still wet. Sophia can't help but laugh. That's an entertaining story, Margot, but purely fictional. With a smile, she takes Alex back to the villa, but the uneasy feeling stays with her. That same night, Margot's daughter, Aster, pays a visit to Sophia. She brings with her old newspaper clippings that tell more about the horrific story Margot had shared. The clippings mention not only Calvin, but also other members of the Dubois family who lived in the villa and died under strange, mysterious circumstances. Aster tells Sophia that many of the family's friends who visited the villa also met strange fates, with many dying after stepping into the upper room. Their families were silenced with money, she adds, as if to keep everything hidden. Aster asks if Sophia has seen Calvin, and at that moment, something shifts in Sophia. Feeling overwhelmed and exhausted, she tells Aster to leave, saying she's tired and needs to sleep. Aster reluctantly takes the clippings and heads back home, but she forgets one. The article she leaves behind is about a physicist from the Dubois family who murdered one of his friends. When the authorities questioned him, he claimed that a ghost living in the house had taken control and made him do it. At the same time, Aster reaches home, and Margot asks what Sophia said after seeing the clippings. Aster shrugs and replies, she didn't seem to care, but deep down, Sophia knows something's wrong. Later, Sophia goes to the upper room where Calvin's portrait hangs. She stands in front of it, staring at the painting, and asks, were you the culprit or the victim? As her hand reaches out toward the painting, something strange happens. The ghost within the portrait appears for a moment, then disappears as quickly as it came. The next day, Sophia takes Alex out to get some household supplies. She leaves him in the car while she heads into the supermarket. As she shops, Police Chief Jane spots Alex sitting alone in the car. Concerned, she asks if he's okay, but he doesn't answer. Suddenly, Alex opens the car door and begins walking toward the road. Jane calls after him, but he doesn't seem to hear. Sophia sees what's happening through the store window and hurries toward them. Just as she gets close, Jane tries to stop Alex, but he turns and attacks her violently. Sophia rushes over, apologizing to Jane, but the officer tells her to take Alex and leave immediately. Sophia helps Alex into the car, fastens his seatbelt, and drives them both back home. When they arrive, Brooks steps forward to help, but Alex suddenly attacks him. Sophia quickly pulls Alex away, and an angry Brooks yells, "Get rid of this lunatic." Inside the house, Sophia turns to Alex and softly says, "I'm sorry for what happened to you. I love you. Please help me." But Alex doesn't respond. Instead, he walks away and goes to his room. Later, Sophia apologizes to Brooks for the outburst, but Brooks says he's the one who should apologize for what he said about Alex. He then invites her to come visit him that night, and she agrees. That evening, Brooks and Sophia are together in the house. As she tries to get closer to him, he steps back and says, "You have to have faith in God to get through everything you're facing." Later, Sophia sees Alex standing on the balcony and asks him to come back inside, but he suddenly pushes her violently, making her fall to the ground. That night, she has a nightmare where Alex is strangling her. When she wakes up, she feels terrified as she notices his handprints on her neck. In fear and panic, she quickly gathers her things and tells Alex that they have to leave the house. Before she gets into the car, she calls her friend and admits that she was right. She feels like she's losing her mind. She decides to take Alex back to the hospital, but just then, Sophia sees Brooks's lifeless body lying nearby. She realizes with horror that he was brutally beaten, tortured, and killed. The next morning, Police Chief Jane arrives at the villa with a group of officers. She tells Sophia that they are going to arrest Alex because he has become a danger to everyone, especially her. However, Sophia stands firm and refuses, saying that she will take Alex home with her the next day and will not abandon her husband. She adds that Alex's family is wealthy enough to hire a powerful lawyer to get him out of prison if he's arrested. Jane responds by saying she will station guards around the villa until they figure out what to do with Alex. That night, Sophia picks up a knife and stands in front of Calvin's portrait. Suddenly, she drops the knife and screams. The portrait disappears, and so does the knife. At that moment, Sophia realizes with horror that Calvin is now present in the house. Sophia begins searching for Alex, and when she finds him, she notices he is holding the knife. He suddenly attacks her, wounding her, and they fight fiercely. In the midst of their struggle, Alex vanishes without a trace. As Sophia continues searching, she eventually finds Alex standing by the staircase leading to the upper floor. She tries to take the knife from him, but he stabs her. Looking into his eyes, she whispers, "I love you, and I forgive you." The next day, Police Chief Jane arrives and finds Alex dead next to Sophia. She had killed him. Later, Sophia is in a psychiatric hospital when Margot visits her. Margot asks her what happened, and Sophia calmly responds, "Calvin helped me fulfill Alex's wish." The final scene takes place at an auction hosted by Mags, where the huge self-portrait of Calvin is being sold. The portrait is bid on and won by a woman whose husband is sick. The camera focuses on the painting, which no longer looks like Alex. Instead, it now resembles the woman's ill husband. The portrait has been transformed by the eye of the beholder and is on the hunt once again. What do you think the portrait really represents? Is it a curse, or is it something more mysterious? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. So if you liked this, hit subscribe and turn on notifications for more recaps. Thanks for watching. See you next time on Warner Movie Recaps.